The plane touched down, and we braced ourselves for the city we'd seen 100 times online. A city of flashing lights, noise, and unstoppable energy. But the first shock wasn't noise. It was silence, the kind that makes you stop and wonder if you've stepped into the wrong place. At the airport, everything ran with machine-like precision. But people moved differently, slower, almost cautiously. We expected chaos and chatter. Instead, it felt like everyone had learned to speak in whispers. The taxi ride into the city was a moving postcard. Skyscrapers rose like glass giants, reflecting the sky in perfect angles. But the closer we looked, the more we saw gaps. Whole blocks seemed frozen in time, as if waiting for something that never came. We imagined Hong Kong would sweep us into its pace. But instead, the city felt like it was holding back, testing us. When we entered our hotel, the illusion of luxury came with a sting. The chandeliers sparkled, the marble gleamed, but the prices? They shocked us more than the skyline. A coffee cost more than a full meal in Thailand. And yet, it wasn't the price that stayed with us, it was the people. Every staff member smiled as if to say, "We're still here." It wasn't just service. It felt like quiet resistance, hospitality as defiance. At night, we went looking for the legendary nightlife. The neon signs were there, but the streets beneath them told another story. Where we expected wild energy, we found half-empty streets. Whole storefronts shuttered, glowing only with memories of what once was. But just when we thought the city had dimmed, we turned a corner. Music poured out of a packed bar, laughter spilling into the night. Two worlds, side by side. One fading, one fighting to stay alive. We asked a bartender what had happened. He looked at us for a long moment, then said, "Hong Kong is still here. Just different." The next morning, we left the glass towers behind. We followed the sound of shouting until we reached a wet market. And suddenly, the city roared back to life. Vendors yelling, cleavers hitting wood, fish splashing in buckets. The air smelled of ginger, garlic, and seawater. It was chaotic, messy, real, and unforgettable. Here, old Hong Kong was alive and unfiltered. This wasn't for tourists. This was for locals, and we were only guests. A grandmother haggled fiercely over vegetables. Her grandson watched, wide-eyed, learning the art of survival through bargaining. That single moment said more about the city than any skyline. Heritage, resilience, identity, all passed down in a handful of cabbage. But Hong Kong doesn't live in one truth. It lives in contrasts, and we felt them everywhere. We spoke with a young shop owner who said business was harder than ever. He missed the crowds, the noise, the energy that used to define his city. Minutes later, we spoke with a taxi driver. He smiled and said life was better now, calmer, more predictable. It was like the city itself couldn't decide which story it wanted to tell. And both sides believed theirs was the truth. The subway showed us another contradiction. Still efficient, still spotless, still one of the best in the world. But the silence was heavy. People avoided eye contact, their steps quick, their expressions unreadable. It was as if the entire city had agreed, "Don't look, don't linger, just move." And that silence was louder than any noise. Victoria Peak gave us the postcard view, skyscrapers, harbor, mountains in the distance. But standing there, we didn't just see a city. We saw a struggle. We expected pure awe. Instead, we felt humbled, because the view hid 1,000 untold stories. Luxury was still everywhere. Shiny malls, 5-star restaurants, Rolexes and glass displays. But tucked behind those same towers, tiny food stalls clung to life. We ate a bowl of noodles that tasted like history, simple, cheap, and unforgettable. Every day pulled us deeper into the contradiction. Every night left us more uncertain about what was real. Because here's the shocking truth, Hong Kong in 2025 isn't one city. It's two, living in the same space, breathing the same air. One city for the brochures, polished and proud. The other, fragile, human, struggling, and real. It's a city of dualities, old and new, silence and noise, pride and uncertainty. And no matter where you go, those dualities collide. We thought Hong Kong would overwhelm us with speed. Instead, it overwhelmed us with contradictions. The truth is, the city isn't gone. It's evolving, and not everyone agrees with how. That's why travelers leave surprised. Because the Hong Kong they find isn't the one they were promised. It's not just a neon wonderland. It's a story still unfolding. The shocking truth is that Hong Kong in 2025 is both fragile and fierce. It's quieter, but no less powerful. It's not the glossy image on travel posters. It's the resilience in a shopkeeper's eyes, the laughter echoing down a half-empty street. It's the silence on the subway, the chaos in the wet market, the contradictions everywhere you look. And that's what makes it unforgettable. Because once you see this Hong Kong, you realize it's not just a destination. It's a living story, one still being written, every single day. And when you come here, you'll face a choice. Do you take the postcard version? Or do you dare to see the truth?